Yo, shout out to the Most High. It's always the highest even when we in our lower state. This is L-Deez, also known Party Boy Lawrence the motherfucking one for another episode of I Need to Know. Shout out to my guest. What's your name, G?
Tucky Blunt.
Okay, for sure. We gonna get into that. And shout out to everybody for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? I see ya. But check it out though. What you want to talk about, man?
Man.
Who is Tucky Blunt? First off, Tucky, where did you get that name from? Or
The story that my mom and dad told me was when I was in mom's stomach, Pops used to rub it and say little weird words. When I came out, that was the weird word he stuck me with. So I've been Tucky as long as I can remember a name.
Okay. So that's a childhood name.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes, sir. Last name is actual last name. No jokes. That's my birth last name.
What?
Blunt.
Blunt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you smoke blunt?
Of course. Since about 93.
93? Okay. So what do you do? Talk about you.
Oh, man. I am Alfonso Tucky Blunt. I am owner of Blunts and More Dispensary in Oakland, California. I am the first ex-felon for cannabis sales to now own a dispensary under Oakland's equity program.
Okay, explain the equity program.
All right, so the equity program is a program came on in about, I want to say 2016. It's a program designed to give people who caught cannabis cases chances at ownership in the cannabis space, whether it be retail, growing, manufacturing, delivery, et cetera. So it was something long overdue that Oakland was the first to put out there. And I'm the first recipient of a dispensary out of that program.
So you damn near like a historical figure in this motherfucker.
You goddamn right. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Mr. Blunts in this motherfucker.
Yes. And it's humbling. I mean, people that know me know I'm, really, really from East Oakland. Like when I came in here, when I sought y'all out, because for the record, I came to them. Like, I'll follow y'all movement.
Okay.
So I wanted to come holler at y'all. And I'm like, I know, bruh, man. Like, I know him. Come to find out, I grew up with your people.
Yeah.
So it's just the Oakland in me is always in and always around, always valid. And I'm just here to rep Oakland the right way and show that, all weed smokers just ain't dummies. You know what I mean? I'm a 4.0 student, graduated from Castlemont, went to Frick, graduated from Frick with honors, and I sold weed all my life. Since I was 16. Well, not all my life, but since I was 16.
So talk about did you get busted, obviously?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
you got
I did.
busted. Talk about the big bust.
All right, so 2004, I have been selling weed for 8 years at this time. No police interaction ever, never. I had left the shooting range, me and my homeboy, and came back to 80th. That's my turf, 80th and Holly, but I'm not a turf boy. You only would catch me on a turf maybe about 2 years of my whole weed career. So I come back from the shooting range, pull up on the block. I had a gold LTD, deuces, clean as hell, white roof, paint, slap, everything. I put my pistol in the LTD and the little bit of weed I had. Luckily, I only had like 8 bags. And back then, I was selling hella weed cookies. I was a cookie man. So I had hella weed pastries, hella banana nut breads, carrot cake, all kind of shit in the car.
You was doing that back then?
Yeah, I was there. If anybody got weed pastries from 2001 on, they got them from me. Like,
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, facts. If anybody say otherwise, they're lying. Pulled up, bounced out, and I had a bucket on the turf. Matter of fact, you know Pug from 80th?
No.
You know Pug. We'll get to that. But Pug was like our local, hood bum or whatever. But that's my uncle, love him to death. R.I.P. Vern. I had a car that I had to bounce in my little bucket. So I'm finna go bounce in. I'm like, all right, cool. Fuck. Forgot my charger. Run to the LTD. 5-0 pull up. He say, hey, man, we heard a white over gold LTD got a gun and weed in it. I'm like, yeah, you lying. I don't know who told you that. They bounce out. It's Officer Wingate. Parkinson ended up coming up. Everybody know who Parkinson and Mignette is, so everybody know who they is.
They be in the West.
They in the West now, but they used to beat the East up.
Okay.
Big time.
Okay.
So they came through. Mind you, I'm under the radar. I'd never want to be a big time weed man. I just wanted to be a weed man. You know what I mean? That was never my goal to be the biggest nigga in Oakland. I sold a lot of my weed at places I worked.
Okay.
So that was cool with me. Bam, they pull up, they arrest me, whatever. He tell me if I give him some information, he'll let me go. Bam, it's cool. Nah, I ain't got nothing to tell you. Take me down. I bailed out the same night, kept on trucking. But I knew I got snitched on but I didn't really know who. And it took me years to figure out who. You know, I finally ended up finding out who, and it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now as to why they said what they said when they pulled up on me. And they literally, I got arrested 2004 for possession of a firearm, possession of weed for sale, and I only had $80 worth of weed on me and caught a felony, 10 years of probation for that first case that I ever had in life.
How long did you do? Like 30 days on your first?
I bailed out the same night. I'm not jail material. That ain't my thing. I didn't sell weed to go to jail. I sold weed because it was a business. You know what I mean? I was getting people high. So I didn't feel I did nothing wrong. I got told on. So ain't no point in me sitting in here to fight a case. Mind you, the day I got arrested was a Thursday. I started working for Alameda County that following Monday.
Okay.
So, you know, I had to bail out. You know what I'm saying? So I bailed out and kept on trucking. And shit, I mean, the rest is kind of like history. It's a good history, but kind of rest is history, bro.
So what happened with the court probation?
So the court probation, what I did with that, just because I knew my rights, I fought my case. I took the deal, but when I took the deal, I knew that once I paid off my restitution, this is information for all y'all. If you have a case, and unless it's federal, you know, like dealing with the president, like robbing banks or some weird stuff. But if you have a case that you've paid off your restitution and have done your time for, you can get that sealed and expunged off your record. Mm-hmm. So I knew once I paid my restitution, the next step was get it sealed. I paid my restitution, got it sealed and off my record, and I kept on trucking down the road. Never looked back. Worked for the county, different counties, Alameda, Contra Costa, San Joaquin County. I worked for child support. I worked for welfare, on and off for a total of 13 years. So
you a caseworker, kind of?
I did all that. Casework, I did front desk. If you came to Eastmont Mall from 05 to 06, I was at the front desk.
Oh, shit. That's a turf in itself.
Yeah,
shit.
You talking about when real talk, bro, I would leave the turf, lead a job, pull up right to 80th, be right in front of Earn house, and a couple of my coworkers who was knocks would be pulling up coming to get their work. Hey, ain't my business. You a functional knock. That ain't what you do off work. Do your thing. So I've lived it. I've been in it, and I ain't just no Randolph, just got a license in Oakland. Like, I really went to jail in the same zip code my dispensary in.
Okay.
So, you know, that's some life-changing shit, and I think it should be more people that have this feeling that I have. I really believe Blunts and More should franchise, and there should be a Blunts and More everywhere that have legal cannabis, and there should be an ex-felon running Blunts and More in that state.
Okay.
So that's what I'm on.
So do you have, like, people working for you?
Yeah. We have a staff. I can't say how many, but we have a staff upwards between 20 and 35. We employ people that stay within like 10 miles of the store. We don't have everybody's local, family vibe, good solid team. I'm employing people. Like, it's like, bro, real talk, I'll literally pull up to the store, back in my little stall, and just watch the trap. Like, I have a legal trap. Like, I really have people that I employ to sell weed for me, bro.
Okay, this is what I want to know. Who was the biggest motivation in getting marijuana legalized?
To me, or just in general?
Just in general.
I just think it's just something that was long overdue. To be totally honest, like, it really was some. Cannabis is not killing people.
Okay.
It should not be as a Schedule I drug. You know what I mean? It should not be. It's not tar. It's not crack. It's a plant.
Okay. Before we get off into that, explain to, you know what I'm saying, everybody what a Schedule I drug is.
So for layman's terms, a Schedule I drug is the drugs that mess people up. The cracks, the cocaines, the heroins, the list goes on. Cannabis is up there with that because that's how they ranked it, but cannabis doesn't qualify. None of the specifications of how you become a Schedule I drug is cannabis. They just put it up there just to put it up there.
Yeah,
because they can.
The funny thing about it is because I go to school for community social service, and you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they got this shit ranked up there as Schedule I because one of the qualifications for it to be in a Schedule I is that it got to be addictive. If you use it enough, it'll be addictive. But last time I checked, if you use anything a lot, you'll probably get addicted to it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, you can call alcohol a Schedule I.
I was just going to get on that.
Cigarettes a Schedule I drug.
Yeah.
But for keeping it a ban, I don't know anyone addicted to cannabis. I know people that like cannabis. I know people that need it for certain ailments, this, that, and the other. But I personally haven't met anyone that was addicted to cannabis. But I also haven't met anybody that's killing anybody to get cannabis. The stuff that's on them Schedule 1 list, meth and all that stuff, is most of the people kill over getting that. I never, people rob and shoot, but like to kill to go get weed. No, I've never seen that before.
What's the longest you ever been without weed?
2 years.
You think you could go 2 years right now?
If I absolutely had to and just really had a legitimate reason to do it, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because if it's about my money and my paper and it's going to, take me away from that, then I would. But if there's a way where I wouldn't have to and I can have some hot pee on my side or something, then, I'm cool. But,
So I want to know this. Now that weed is being legalized and stuff like that, and I know that shit, man, the confetti came down in your mind as soon as that was. How quick did you get your own business? Like, what was the steps and procedures?
So for with us, just a little quick backstory. The way I found out about the equity program, 2017, I got a phone call from Mike Marshall. Mike Marshall is the voice of I Got Five, the one that actually sings I Got Five.
Yeah.
Homie of mine. Of course, Yuck and Numb is homies, but that particular person called me and was like, hey, some sisters out of Atlanta, they need someone who caught a case in Oakland for weed. You ever caught a case? I'm like, yeah, why? He told me about the program. I looked it up on my computer. I was like, all right, it's legit. Mind you, he knows prior to this, I graduated from Oaksterdam, the weed college, in 2008.
That's the one that used to be downtown. Is that the cookie store?
That's the cookie store now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I went to there. I was in their third, maybe second class in Oakland. And I had people laugh at me. They're like, you going to a weed school? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is what I want. This has always been a business to me. At 19, I wanted to open a dispensary. So we got with the people, my partner Brittany, got with her and her mom, did the application, submitted the application. 66 applicants made it through the submitted application. 36 made it through. Out of them 36, you had to take a bingo ball, throw it in the chamber, they roll it around, and if they picked your ball, you lost. The last 4 balls out of that 36 that was in the chamber won a license. I put our ball in third, and we was one of the last 4 still in there. So the destiny of us winning it, that had to be destiny. We win it, and then once you win it, you're on a time limit to find a location and to get money to open your spot. There was no money available. You had to basically sign over with sharks. So we had a couple bad deals set in front of us that was trash. We ended up finding a good deal that worked.
Sign over with sharks. Explain that.
Okay, so the equity program, great program, love it to death. Shout out to Desley Brooks for starting the program, getting it going. But when they gave all these people licenses for different things in the space, there was supposed to be education that came along with that. And I say the main thing the equity program needs is education and funding. You can't give a multi-million-dollar license to a person who has no business savvy, no background of ever handling real money, et cetera, because they're going to have to go sign with people who are going to devalue them to their cause to boost them up. Perfect example, they have something called incubation in Oakland. You basically can take an ex-felon, partner with them, say you're going to give them space, and then you giving them space allows you, the company, to move up the ladder to get licensing. Those people who are being incubated in most cases aren't getting paid. So it kind of like set up a reverse war on drugs kind of sort of for the people who got the license, and now you got to find money. Where are you going to find money to open up a $3 million space? Who just has money sitting around? And us as black people, we don't really get together to pool our money together. So you can't go to your brother, your cousin, and say, hey, let's link up like you should. So you go out and you find sharks, and sharks are looking for blood, and they devalue. You're the golden ticket. They're coming to you because they need you to win. So you got to know that and use that to approach how you conduct your deals. So
is this sound like some shit like when a motherfucker be from overseas and they want to be U.S. citizens and they just marry a motherfucker that's a U.S. citizen? Is that kind of like the same concept?
It should not be the same concept, but in some cases it is. You have to get with somebody to get where you're going, but you got to make sure the people you're getting with got your best interest in it as well. It's not just about them. You really have to know your worth. It's supposed to be 4 equity dispensaries open right now. Like I said, it was 4 balls left. There's only 1. That bothers me. And then there's supposed to be a new round of licensing going out for more equity dispensaries, and they're going to do another lottery. And I'm like, well, how are you going to do that if the other 3 haven't opened yet? You know what I mean? Like, where are they at? Did they drop down the ladder or somebody pick up their slot? What happened? So there's questions that need to be answered. There's oversight that need to be involved with the program. But it was a good start, and now it's just time to reel it in and, fix the kinks. That's doable. That's doable.
Okay, and I want to know, At Oaksterdam, right? What kind of stuff do they actually teach you at Oaksterdam? Do they teach you how to grow? Do they teach you the dangers of this drug? I mean, what is the curriculum like?
Shout out to Oaksterdam. Shout out to all the family at Oaksterdam. They teach you. So when I went, they taught grow, they taught legal, they taught just everything from the ground up, seed to sale, on how to run a cannabis space at that time in that year. You know what I'm saying? We talking about 08. Laws are different now, but they still teach the same thing. They teach it's everything. Anything you want to know about cannabis, on the legal side, on the growth side, on the business side, Oaksterdam has a class for you. The main difference for me from when I went, I paid $350 for all of that. I think it's like $1,600 per different classes now.
Damn.
But yeah, it's went up, but the value of it is legit. Like, you can take your degree somewhere with Oaksterdam and like use it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really legitimate. It's a good company, good program, and it's been around for a reason. You know what I mean? That ain't just me talking on them. They've literally been around. I think Oaksterdam opened in 07, I think, and they're still here. So.
And how old was you when you hit your first joint?
I was 13. Frick, we had a graduation party. We were the underclassmen, so we was the 8th grade. This was back then when niggas used to walk together. We walked I stayed off of Fern by High Street. We walked from, linked up with your homies, keep walking. We walked through the 60s, bam, we end up in the 80s on Dallin. We had a house party. I'll never forget it. We in there hella deep. Everybody that went to Frick in 94, 95, 93, 94 was at this party. If you went to Frick, you was at this party. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody smoking. I hit some weed. I'm like, all right, it's cool. Somebody fucked around and passed a cigarette around that motherfucker. That was not cool. One time was enough for me, never again. But that was my first time. I hit the weed. And I was like, okay, I've smoked it for years. Like, my dad, my mom, been smoking weed, been doing that thing. Grannies, like, weed wasn't new to me. I just had never did it myself. I would always go in, sneak with the aunties and uncles, sniffing around while they playing dominoes. I'm in the back room smelling the weed. But once I hit it, I was like, all right, that's cool. I like it. All right, let me try it again. And then I tried it for about a year until 14 and kind of like, all right, it's cool, but that was it.
Yeah.
I kind of let it go. And that's the 2 years I'm talking about. So from 14 to 16, I stopped smoking. And it's a trip that at that age, my son right now, he's 14. He just went through a smoking spell that we all found out about. And, we doing the parenting and blah, blah, blah. And it was weird. I said, damn, you my junior boy.
So what is that conversation like? Like, are you pro him smoking or anti,
So the conversation, real talk, was anti now because he's a star athlete. My son is raw in basketball, and I'm an asshole. Like, I don't call people raw just to say he my son. If he was fucking up, I would call him trash. Like, I've called him trash on the court, and he was doing good. Like, I'm one of them kind of, I'm gonna yell at you till you get right, whatever, fault me. But it was a cool conversation. I didn't really have to do too much because he got caught by his mama, his other mama, who was my wife, his other daddy, and me all in the same day. And his big siblings knew about it before us, but they held it. They never told us. They tried to do everything they could to keep him from doing it. But he a kid. He like, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do it until I get caught. And he got caught because he was pilfering. And I knew stuff.
Explain that.
Most kids get high off their parents' supply.
Pilfering, does that mean stealing?
Yes, it does. Yes,
okay.
it does. So, that conversation was actually quite easy. My kids they're pretty sharp. We try to raise them, we talk. And I just told him flat out, I'm like, son, you got 4 more years, you grown and can do whatever you want to do. I know everybody you see in the NBA and they doing their thing. He see what's going on. So he like, oh, it's not affecting me. But I'm like, well, son, real talk, it is affecting you because it made you start stealing and lying. You know what I mean? That's an effect of what you were doing. So the conversation was cool. He hasn't been on it. We've been testing his butt. We got some tests. So he's been cool. It was a good conversation. It was just one thing I learned from growing up with my parents. Love my parents to death, but there's certain ways that they parent that I took and then certain ways that I didn't.
Yeah.
One of the main things was talking. Our parents, I'm 40. Most people in this area, their parents didn't really talk to them. Our sex talks was wear a condom. It wasn't nothing about you can catch this, you can catch that, and da-da-da. My mama first sex talk with me was if you're gonna fuck somebody, bring her to the house. Don't do it nowhere else. Like, you got to be safe. That was the extent, you know what I'm saying? But in her defense,
how old was you when this talk went down?
About 13, 14. And my mama became a mom at 17, and her sex talk was nothing. You know what I mean? Her first sexual encounter, I was created. So the way we try to parent and change with our kids is to talk open. Like, I got 5 kids. My oldest is 21 tomorrow, and we all talk to our kids. Now, granted, they ain't gonna tell us everything. I don't expect them to, but we got to change. I had to change how I parent based on how my parents parented me. You know what I mean? And it just makes it easier.
Because you know what? It is a different world. I have a 7-year-old son, and I already talked to him about sex.
Yes, you have to. Because, I mean...
he just turned 7 yesterday.
Niggas getting, I mean... I was in the sandbox when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I saw my first coochie at like 6 years old in Alameda at elementary school.
Damn, you was getting choked up behind that shit. You probably get
it was just, I can't believe that, you know, and people was talking about like, I can't believe that was going on, but we didn't know nothing of it. The girl just put her pussy out. Like she literally just, she had a dress on, put her panties down in the sandbox. We didn't know what to do. We just looking at it like, okay, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You have a slit, we have a stick. All right, we out the sandbox.
Okay.
But it's just, you know, you got to be real with your kids, and that's the way I know how to parent. So.
Okay, so the industry that you in, you know what I'm saying? We are in America. Talk about some of the challenges you may have faced just being black in the industry.
Shit, the biggest challenge is it's not enough of us in the industry. That's the biggest challenge. I mean, us as a race set the trends in the cannabis space, period. From music, from the clothing, from just everything. When you think of cannabis, you, for the most part, think of black people. And just, you know, I mean, you got your white people that do their thing, no hate, no shade. But we set the trends. And in all cases, we're the least amount in the space. So the biggest disadvantage or the biggest thing I'm going through is trying to change that and trying to get as many of us in the door as possible. And not just for growing and selling, just for anything that's cannabis related, business wise, we got to tap in. This is the last thing we're going to get. Can't get liquor, can't get cigarettes. If we can all tap in some form, shape, form, or fashion in the cannabis space as black people and pool all our money together, man, we'll set up our kids. But we got to be on that same mind frame. Everybody not on that.
And do you know, like, we're the first place in the world that had legalized, like, weed? Is it true it was Amsterdam?
So people could tap in and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, cannabis isn't quote unquote legal in Amsterdam. Like you can go into the coffee shops and do your thing, but you can't fly out of there with nothing. You can't fly in there with nothing. But as far as like the first place that made it legal, like how, you know, the recreational stuff was Denver. Denver was the first place that made it to where you can have recreational and medicinal. And it'd be actually like legal, tax, tracked, blah, blah, blah. They started that was Denver. Denver did it first.
Okay. Have you ever smoked a joint that was no good?
Fuck yeah.
I'm talking on like you felt like it was laced with something.
Oh, no. So I'm extremely picky. I never in my life, the first joint I ever smoked was the only one that somebody rolled for me. Ever since then, I roll my own shit. Now they have pre-rolls now. Those are legal. Those are legit. So I can buy them with confidence and say, okay, I can smoke them. But I don't really believe in smoking somebody else roll. So no, I ain't never been laced like that. I have smoked, and honestly, I've never smoked Bammer before either, bro. Like, you know how people talk that shit? I'm luckily for me, I've never smoked Bammer before, ever. I've had red fence weed. Was that laced? That might have been laced. So I might have had some laced weed before, but it didn't do nothing to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So besides I Got 5 on it, what is your favorite weed song?
Ooh, that's a good question. Favorite weed song?
Because I assume I Got 5 on it is your favorite weed song, right?
I Got 5 on a remix.
Yeah,
is my favorite weed song. But if I just had to pick a weed song besides that one, 80 Ounces.
80 Ounces?
By Richie Rich.
Oh. Did that come out like in 94 or something?
That was on, I want to say Half Thing.
Gotcha, I know what that is.
I think that was on Half Thing. Smoking and drinking.
That is it.
But won't kick in.
Oh yeah.
That one.
I know exactly what that is. You know what's crazy about weed and rap?
Tell me.
Is that Snoop Doggy Dogg is the biggest weed rapper. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that 1,000,000%.
But he doesn't have like a super famous weed song. Have you ever noticed that?
I have noticed that.
That's crazy.
That is very crazy. And I guess it's just he raps about it in his music, but he's just never really he's never done that. And that's a trip you said that I've thought about that before, but not in that context. That's pretty deep.
Because gin and juice
is all drink.
Was rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice, laid back. But it's more of an alcohol
They call that
song.
an alcohol song. They don't call that a weed song. Even though he's laid back off the weed and he's rolling down the street smoking, that song is considered an alcohol song.
That's crazy.
By all circles, yes. I like that.
So, Mr. Blunts, I got to ask you some hip-hop trivia. You ready?
Possibly.
Okay. Blunts. Philly Blunts, right? What rapper popularized Philly Blunts?
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. I want to say somebody on the East Coast. I don't even think it was nobody out here. I want to say it was Method Man or Redman, but I could be wrong. You tell me.
Redman.
Okay.
Redman, funk motherfucking Dr. Motherfucking Spock.
Okay, I'm like, it was East Coast. And it was one of them too. And that's crazy. Real talk, no bullshit. 2 days ago, I got a call from Method Man people.
Okay.
That emailed, I reached back out. The dude was like, man, can I call you? I'm thinking it's just a worker. Called. It's 4 business partners in Tucky. I've already talked to 3 of them. And they hit me, was like, we've been watching you. We've been looking, when we came to the Coliseum, we wanted to get over there. We didn't have time, but we've been watching you for a year and a half. Meth personally has talked about you and want to do A, B, and C. I was, but I had to answer right. What's your next one? Give me some more trivia.
Okay.
I got off, but I'm still on it.
I wanna sit there and tell you my favorite weed song.
Okay, come on.
Okay, because I don't smoke weed, but my favorite weed song is this. Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed by RBL.
Okay, definitely.
What does RBL stand for?
Ruthless by Law.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. They first tape. Every song on there was a sample. That's the era with the totally Insanes. That's the era of music I love. Like that era, that 92 to 94 music era in the Bay Area, even 96, 97. So yes, Ruthless by Law. Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed. Another sample. I know that song by heart. You know, like that's a classic. You know what I mean? I think I picked Rich just because I'm from Oakland. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But, I mean, shit, you got to think about Garcia Vegas by 11-5. That's another good weed song.
That definitely is a dope one. You know what I'm saying?
So everybody likes your Vegas.
So check it out though. You going out of space and some shit like that, right? You going out of space. What 5 albums from the Bay Area are you taking?
Stacking Ships, Bosses Will Be Bosses, In a Major Way by E40. You said 5, right?
Yeah.
So I got Bosses, I got Stacking, I got Sideways, Me Against the World. So that's 4. And then I'm gonna take my album, my Cookie Man album from 2004.
Okay. You had any famous features on there?
Stevie Joe was on there, actually. Stevie Joe. We both from 80th, so I had him get on there. But that album was solely just me, and I literally was just rapping about selling weed cookies and partying at the Ambassador and shit like that. So
In San Jose?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm a party animal. I used to dance my ass off, like literally, like.
Can you still dance smoking all them motherfucking blunts?
I can still dance, but not like I used to. I'm gonna just 2-step and hit the brick field, and I'll be cool.
For sure. You know what 5 albums I'll bring?
What?
Okay, if I'm in space, right?
I'm in space, and you talking about 5 Bay albums?
5 Bay albums.
Okay.
I'm taking Short Dogs in the House.
Of course, that's a good one.
I'm taking Ascari X, Ward to State. I'm taking Guapale, Even Closer. I'm taking Cell Block.
I started to put that, but that was a compilation, so I wasn't sure if that would have, you know what I'm saying? Because that definitely got to go. That got to fit like in the cut somewhere. You know what I mean? Or a compilation with the Scaries and all. Put all them on just one big compilation. Because you gave me 5. It's hard. Like the Bay Area has some of the best music in the world.
Okay.
So it's hard to pick 5. In our era, because you about the same age, right?
Yeah.
So that era of music, the stuff you named, I want to knock out some of mine and put some of that in there. Like it's okay. What's 4 and 5? You said 3. What's 4 and 5?
No, I think I got one left.
You got one left?
Yeah, because I said Even Closer by Guapale.
You said the Scary.
Okay.
You said
Short Dogs in the
House. That was
Cell-
3.
Cell
Cell
Block.
Block 4. Okay, one more.
I gotta give fucking shit out the Bay. Shit, what album can't I just live without? Man. I would probably go a E40 album, and I might take In a Major Way or Federal.
Yep, that's the In a Major Way is just, that's one of them ones, like I listen to Sideways at least 4 times a month. I listen to Stacking Chips once a week. I listen to when you pulled up, what was I listening to?
Bosses will be bosses.
Come on, man. Like, and that wasn't just on a fluke because I was here. That's just really like, I fuck with the new stuff. It's new stuff I listen to. It's people I like or whatever. But I go back to the good music. That good Mechanics is bringing that shit back.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dot and Tweed, niggas I've known forever. They bringing that real cell block sound back. I'm like, for real.
Yeah,
like,
that old school mob music.
Facts. 412s, 415s.
You know what? Before I get off, I gotta ask you a question. You gotta tell me what your take is on this shit.
Okay.
That fake weed called Spice, right? Have you heard of that shit?
I have.
What's your take on that, and what is it?
I don't know what it is. My take on it is it ain't weed. It's killing people. It's just it's what people got to understand too with the cannabis space, and this is something I'm learning just on the legal side, because you don't have to really worry about that when you're just riding around selling bags. This legal cannabis space is making me more conscious of what I'm putting in my body.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like really looking into testing labs and making sure that they really testing and the facilities is right, and you know, also trying to wean myself off of like swishers and stuff, and really just fuck with hemp papers, and just it's really made me change how I ingest my cannabis, because I'm more so alert to what's what. And Spice, yeah, I wouldn't even want to smoke nothing. Who smokes fake weed? Like, you know what I mean?
Them
like,
motherfuckers in Stockton?
Yo, man. Well, Stockton, y'all better get together. It's some dispensaries out there.
I was out there in Stockton and some motherfuckers was smoking that Spice. This motherfucker had an ankle monitor on waiting on the smoke shop to open. And he seemed like he was crazy, going crazy. Like, have you ever seen them clips where motherfuckers be fucking with them bath salts?
Yep, same shit. And I don't know. I'm not big on, you know, extra shit. I just like my weed, my little Henny, and I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
So you said you got 4 children or 5?
I have 5.
So you being the weed man and shit like that, how did you actually have these conversations? First off, do most of your kids smoke?
The oldest 4, yes, but the one that we just talked about better not be, or you're gonna get his ass kicked. Okay. So my oldest 3, yeah, but they 21, 19, and finna be 20. You know what I'm saying? So they grown. Once, you know, of course, when we found out they start smoking, we knew they was smoking. It's just how you approach it. My whole thing was, don't be out here just buying weed from anybody. But then I can't also be like at 14, here, come get weed from me. I couldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna sell y'all weed at this age. But if you are gonna smoke, just be careful with how you smoke. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, do what you can. And they found their way around just like I did. But yeah, 3 of my 5 for sure smoke. For sure.
Talk about some of the people that you grew up with that you know for a fact. Like, I be seeing people that I know that used to smoke a lot of weed, but they was probably dipping off into the shit. But motherfuckers be crazy, walking down the street, talking to themselves, ain't keeping themselves up, like they got slipped something. Like, you got any people like that you know?
So my cousin actually went through that. But I can't remember if it was smoking or drinking. But shout out to Dangerous Dame. That's family. Blood couldn't make us closer. He got slipped to Mickey, one of the most talented artists out of the Bay Area. Fuck the Bay Area, out of Oakland. Dangerous Dame caught some bad shit. He's still around, he's still moving and grooving, he's still rapping if you catch him, he's still dancing, all the shit. But that's the only person I know personally that I've, you know, something happened to before.
Do they educate y'all on shit like that at Oaksterdam?
Yes. Like anything that you can literally think of to ask within the space, they'll tell you. And even if they ain't teaching it, you can suggest it and they'll put it in the curriculum. Like they're ever evolving like space.
Yeah,
so they do definitely.
So what did they actually talk to you about, like different drugs and stuff like that, or?
So their focus isn't on the other drugs. Their focus is on, for one, cannabis ain't a drug. So let me clear that up. But their focus is on highlighting the pros and cons of cannabis if you're going to indulge. And cons aren't really cons. It's just if you're going to be sleepy, you're going to be high. They want you to know about the different terpenes that are in the cannabis. Terpenes are the different flavors that you ingest in cannabis that attack certain things in your body, from your knees to your brain or whatever, the different terpenes. So they teach you about all of that, and that's all good knowledge. So it's kind of like, you know, they can't really talk about the drugs per se because it's not a drug thing, but they can coach you on the pros and cons of how you ingest and doing your cannabis.
Okay, and is it true different strands of weed do different things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's It used to be just straight indica sativa. Now everything is always a hybrid.
When you say it used to be, like, what date are you talking about? Like the beginning of man? When
Yeah. It was beginning of man. I'm sure it was just sativa. They wasn't making no sleepy weed. So it was just everything. I'm sure it was a sativa. But as time went on, people didn't want to just be awake off of cannabis. They wanted to, wind down. So that's when the indicas, I'm sure, came aboard. And then now everything is a hybrid. Most of these times, I like mixing my weed. So I like to have 3 different weeds in one joint. But most of these hybrids are being created because indicas don't yield a lot, and then sativas
the indicas don't what?
Don't yield a lot. They don't make a lot of weight in most cases.
Okay.
And especially a real solid heavy indica, they just short bushy. They don't generate a lot of flower. So people cross them so that they can get more flower out of it. But you got to cross it right to make sure it offset right. So everything is pretty much hybrid. Now I don't even ask if it's indica or sativa now, unless it's a specific strain. If I hear silver or if I hear haze, I'll notice that's sativa. But everything now is a hybrid. Everything's a cake or a gelato or it's what it is.
One time I went to go hang out with the brothers in the Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying, one Sunday, and the minister got up there and said that there's something in the weed that's dropping men, creating more estrogen, making motherfuckers feminized. What you got to say about that?
I had never heard that. Me personally, everything that I've ever encountered with regards to weed, I haven't seen that. I haven't encountered it me personally or no one that I know that I can think of that can speak to the fact of getting more estrogen from cannabis, but that don't mean it's not true. I just haven't heard it. You know what I mean? So I'd have to do my research on it. I'm one of them people that if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to say I do. I'll say, well, I'll do some research on it. But for me, I never heard it, but that doesn't mean it's not right.
Okay. And what would you say, like, to people that during this COVID-19 shit like that, motherfuckers going around passing blunts around?
So me personally, to each his own. Do what you want to do. But only people I've smoked with throughout this space is the woman I live with, her best friend who basically lives with us, or we at her house, my nigga Cookie Monster that was supposed to be here because I basically live at his house, and that's it. I've never really been a big pass around like smoker anyway. Most of my blunts is face, you know what I mean? Because I'm smoking with me or I'm smoking with the missus, so I've never really been in a big, we come from smokers, like, when my niggas get together and we smoking, if we are passing the blunt around, if it's 10 of us, it's 10 blunts being passed around amongst us 10. Like, we always facing. But in this time where we are now with all the stuff that's going on, if you are doing that, then that's the risk you take for doing what you choose to do. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't think I'm ready to go there just yet. You know what I mean? Like, we used to have dab buses at our store, and we always clean them up. You know, how everything was clean and sanitized. We do all that, but I'm not ready to have a dab bus at the store yet. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it's safe just yet. I don't know. A dab bus. So we have a bus called a Twerkulator that comes to the store, and we have dollar dabs. People go in, spend about $50. They get a dollar dab. They come on the bus, dab, and then they get off the bus.
With a joint or with
it's a machine called a dab rig. You like take a pull.
Oh, okay.
So you can't really do stuff like that no more. I hope we can get back to that because cannabis is always known as something that brings people together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fucked up with. You got to be apart, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I roll face ones anyway, so I don't mind not passing. That doesn't bother me at all.
And another thing that I heard that people actually eat one brownie, right? And they say that one brownie don't do nothing, but then when they take the second brownie, they get fucked up, man. What is that about?
Okay, so I am the perfect person to ask that. So, edibles, first of all, let me state, the new edibles nowadays don't have shit on the edibles I had. But they're cool. Most of the time when people do that, they'll eat one and say it's not doing nothing. That's just your mind telling you to say it's not doing nothing. If you get to that point, do not eat another one because you're going to be fucked up. And people don't get that. Like when I sold my pastries, I always told people the rules. I let them know how much to eat. I would even cut it for you or put lines and incisions in it to tell you how much to eat. True story, because this is I have plenty of these, but true story. My cousin ate some carrot cake. The people, she was at the house.
Carrot cake.
I used to sell carrot cake, banana nut bread, chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal raisin, banana whatever you could think of, I was selling it. The house that Ernst used to stay in, my boy Terrence moved into, T-Rilla. My cousin was over there. She's like, oh man, I can eat it, it's cool, whatever, bring me some carrot cake. I'm like, all right, cuz, brought her the carrot cake. Told her how much to eat. Told her don't eat all of it. Mind you, the slice was about yay wide, about that thick. She ate all of it. So I explained to her all the rules, blah, blah, blah. She said, oh, I'm finna go to Pack and Save. You know where Pack and Save is from 80th? The Pack and Save on 73rd.
Yeah. Hagenberger.
She went to Hagenberger's Pack and Save, called me 30 minutes later talking about, I can't make it back to 80th. I'm finna call the police on myself. And I'm like, well, cuz, what happened? Wait. Yes.
At the grocery store?
Yes, she was in the car, paranoid, couldn't make it back to 80th. And I'm like, well, cuz, what did you do? She said, cuz, I ate all of it. I don't like, people tend to not listen. This is the main reason I made the cookie song. Like on my album, there's a song called The Cookie Song. And I specifically like give directions on everything because people like don't listen. They're so good. Like my edibles were good. They weren't like, they started off a little weedy and you could taste the weed, but they ended up getting better. Like you can eat one and not know. Now I'd be walking around Ambassador passing out cookies. Like, you know, if you knew me like and want one, hey, here, take a bite. Here you go. Don't eat all of that. Just eat this. People don't listen, bro. They think they can handle it, and then they calling me an hour later trying to throw it up out their system. You can't do that.
That shit is crazy. I remember when I was sitting up there working at Home Depot, one of my partners, man, shout out, he was cleaning up, you know, doing the cars. He ate one, and he kept on giggling. I was like, man, what the fuck is so funny, man? Like, I want to laugh. You know, he said, I just had a weed brownie, right? Man, he said, man, but I just feel good. I'm finna go eat the other half of this. Fuck this. I swear.
Okay, when you say Home Depot, how many years ago was this?
This is about 2006.
Okay, so he had some of them real brown. Yeah, he was fucked up. Yeah. He had some of them real ones. The new age stuff is cool, you know what I'm saying? That they dosed. So everything you buy now has to be a max of 100 milligrams. Max. Okay. Back when I was selling cookies, we didn't even measure milligrams, but I guarantee you them things was at least 1,000 milligrams just in one cookie.
Yeah.
So we talking about 100 is a max now. We got something, one cookie got 1,000. And I would tell people in my cookies, split them into 4s. Fuck it, split them into 5s. Do not eat a whole cookie. I've eaten a whole cookie, and I've been fucked up sitting at my house on C Street.
Yeah.
Fucked up. But I was our test dummy because I would literally just buy hella cookies and pastries and sit them on the table and have my niggas from the hood come eat them. And we would sit and see how they would react. Like I'm real big, even with my store. If it came through my store, other than a few different items, I've ingested. Like if I'm giving it to the public or selling it to you, I should have tried it first. I should be able to tell you, you know, how it did me. And that's how I always been. We got somebody in the room, like I said, that can vouch for that. I really, really take selling weed serious as a business. I've always marketed myself as that, and it's just come to fruition. Like it couldn't have came to nobody else, bro. Like I really this wasn't just like I said, some destiny shit. I pinch myself all the time, and it's cool. It's good to be me, you know. But I'm trying to open the door for other people though. It ain't just about me. It's more about the brand.
Okay. And what is CBD? Is that
CBD
anything to do with weed?
Yeah, CBD is a part of weed. It deals with the cannabinoid system. Basically, CBD medicates, whereas THC gets you high. So if you smoking CBD or ingesting CBD or rubbing on CBD cream, it helps for pain, headaches. If you're a sport or athlete, you can rub it on your knees. You can smoke CBD and it'll calm you down. It's straight medicinal. There's no THC in it, so you don't get high. And it's really popular for people who are in pain. You know what I mean? Some people smoke weed to not be high. That's where CBD comes in. It's for the pain. But in most cases, people want to get high. That's me.
Okay. Okay, so if I sat there, say like I got arthritis or some shit, right? Okay. And I smoke a motherfucking CBD joint. Mm-hmm. And I go to work, and I've been smoking this shit all motherfucking week. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My arthritis is under wraps. Mm-hmm. And they get me in the room for random drug tests. Mm-hmm. Do I test positive for marijuana?
Yes, you will. You will. And that's something they got to change too. Like, what I do off of work is my fucking business. Like, I should be able to do whatever I want. Now, if I'm on the clock, I shouldn't be high. You shouldn't be worried about that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I mean, if you're a driver, I get that. But just a lot of these businesses need to just cut it out. Like, we're in California. 99% of people in California smoke. You shouldn't have to be worried about that. Now, if I kill somebody on the job, run somebody over, something like that, then we could talk. But in most cases, you know anybody ever ran into somebody and killed them smoking weed? I'll wait.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, just like cut it out. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Laws gonna have to change, especially in states that have legal cannabis. But if you smoking and you got your arthritis and they want to test you for that, maybe do it as a cream. So you're not smoking it and it's not in your stuff. And you just rubbing, like you rub a cream on, it may test, but it won't show the same as if you were smoking, if that makes sense.
You basically saying like the levels might not be the same.
Yep. Yep. But
So
the levels of the CBD would still be strong. But as far as like they're testing if you smoked it, because they're only specifically testing that. And if it come out in the urine, it's gonna come out different smoking it as opposed to rubbing it. If that's a better way to say it.
really, did they teach you that at Amsterdam?
I've learned that new recently. Like Amsterdam, back then we didn't. It was a different time in the legal space. So CBD wasn't even really. It was talked about. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like prevalent. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't important per se back then with what we were learning. It's important now because it's more in the space now. You know what I'm saying? And you got to evolve with it. I've learned so much. I'm an East Oakland nigga that sell weed. Like didn't care about CBD, THC numbers and all that. Do it get you high? Do I get sleepy off of it? Is it gonna make me cough? That's how we judged our weed in Oakland. We didn't care about CBD or THC. Now that's something that the customers care about, so I have to care about that. So I got to shop for stuff that got high THC, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen stuff with 30 THC that didn't do shit. And I've seen stuff with 20 THC that knocked me on my ass.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a weird game. It's a weird game.
And what the fuck is hemp?
Hemp, oh man, hemp is hard to explain. Hemp is another part of cannabis. You can use it in papers. People make clothes out of it. It's part of cannabis plant. It's another extract that you can get from cannabis.
So as far as like weed go, right? People, let's just say like this motherfucking microphone, right?
Okay.
It's some weed. People that's getting high is off the motherfucking this part, the bud, right?
It depends. Now they got tinctures you can put under your tongue so they can be high that way.
Tinctures?
Yes, you can put a tincture under your tongue and be high. You know what I mean? So it ain't just, you can get high from cannabis in so many different ways. It don't have to just be smoking. And that's why it's convenient for a lot of the newbies to cannabis because they can vape it in an oil. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that's on this new phase of cannabis don't want to smell like weed. So they're looking for ways to get high without smelling like weed, i.e. an edible, a tincture, a vape pen, something that, you know, the smoke go away. You know, it's just, it's cool, you know what I mean? I'm old school. I mean, I do my little vape pen from time to time, but I like rolling my joint, smoking my shit. But that's me.
So a while back, were they talking about like vapes was actually like killing motherfuckers? Was that cigarette vapes or was that weed vapes or just all vapes?
It was all vapes. It was, if you weren't getting it from licensed, tested facilities, they were just putting whatever in it. And granted, there are some licensed testing facilities that are fuckboys. So you got to really know. Shout out to Be Legit. He taught me about how to find the real testing facilities and, you know, read things. It's just kind of like Yelping. Like, you got to really read these people's reviews and see what's going on and what's going into stuff. One of our good companies we fuck with had to get shut down because they was doing the bad vape shit. So it's just like I said, I've become real conscious of what I intake now on the legal side because I've grown weed all the shit. So there's certain stuff I wasn't worried about that I'm worried about now. It's different. It's different.
Okay. And do you remember when Snoop Doggy Dogg said this? Keep the motherfucking blunts in your pocket, log. Doggy Dogg is all about the zigzag smoke. Do you remember that? What do you think he meant by that?
He meant by it because from what I take from it, he old school wanted to just smoke papers. I don't know if he had any, and I don't know, but I don't know if it had anything to do with him knowing that papers is the most natural way. I don't know. But from what I took from the song was, I'm OG, I don't want them papers. I mean, I don't want them blunts or whatever. I want the joints. And honestly, truthfully, that's what I've been on.
Yeah.
And once I got a roller, because I can't roll joints. I've never been able to. I can roll everything else. I've never been able to. Papers, I tear them up. I got a roller now. Best thing going. I done had 3 already. I done broke 2 of them because I roll so much now. I can just boop, pop them out there, roll themselves. But it's the best way to smoke. Unless you got a hemp paper, the papers is the way. Like I still fuck with my diamond swishers, but get off them if you can.
Well, you know what? Back to Snoop. Want me to tell you what he meant?
Please.
That was the East Coast diss.
Because the East Coast was
smoking
doing the Phillies
blunts.
and the blunts.
That's why he said keep them motherfucking blunts in your pocket, low. Doggy Dog is all about the zigzag smoke.
That was
so if you want
definitely-
some, get some. Bad enough, take some. And watch it throw them by my side. Because it represents me and the motherfucking East Side. So
I
by
never looked
wow.
at like that.
And then he said, my flow was dope original. Now you know when can't no hood fuck with Def Rizzo. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never looked at it like that. That was
That's
definitely
exactly what the fuck that meant.
That was a slick one too.
Check it out though. What was the best sounding album that you heard when you was smoking weed? I'm gonna give you 3.
Who is Jill Scott?
Okay.
Anthony Hamilton coming from where I'm from album is a good smoking album, and this is just a smoking song I can just play on repeat.
Like an album, like any
No,
album.
this particular one ain't even an album. I just want to hear this song. I'd rather be with you, Parliament Funkadelic.
Okay.
You just let that play. Those, if I can back to back, and I was just riding. Who is Jill Scott? Anthony Hamilton coming from where I'm from, and then I'd rather be with you just to top it off and play that like 4 times in a row. Good smoke session.
Okay, and where do you see yourself at in 5 years?
5 years, I hope to have store number 2 open. Not sure where yet. It just depends on where they have the equity. I also look to be networking more with other companies because I'm not just locked into Blunts and More. My goal is to be a consultant for other companies, to be like an equity liaison because I'm the first. So you can't tell me I don't have the credentials. So 5 years from now, I hope to be partnered with maybe 3 to 5 other companies, helping them move their equity brands forward and helping to teach other people about equity. Like I said, store number 2, hopefully store number 3. And then just networking, bro. I hope to be still alive and being able to speak this message. To be totally honest with you, I see myself, like I said, another store and continuous networking.
Did you have to jump through any outrageous hoops to get where you at as far as like the legalization of where you at or the store?
We didn't really have to jump through too many hoops. Us personally, it was just finding the money and then jumping through that hoop of, negotiating. And that's pretty much it. The city has been cool with what they've had us do, so we haven't really had to jump through too many hoops, but you just got to find that money and have the knowledge to know how to negotiate your deal. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, because I have an associate or something like that, and they was talking about like when they went to go get their cannabis license, he said that he was facing all type of racial discrimination. Like, he was like, damn, if I was white, I probably would have got it quicker, but they was like playing with his paperwork and stuff like that.
Well, I personally haven't encountered that or know anybody that I can say encountered the racial part of it because it's for equity. Now, if he wasn't equity qualified and just went in as a general just to apply for different, because I don't know the situation, it may have come off that it was one way or the other. But I will give the city of Oakland, from what I can gather, they're trying to give it to the right people. They can't help what other people sign away, you know what I mean, because they can't help control that, but they are trying to make it to where it's done right, as best as they can. Okay, and how many states are legalizing marijuana? Oh, you gave me a good one. I want to say it's more than 13. Y'all don't shoot me. I don't know the number offhand, and I do know it, but I want to say it's 13 to 20, but don't quote me because I'm messing up right now. I should know that, but I don't. I'm sorry. So if you outside, right? If you outside, let's just say at the motherfucking Raider game. Okay. And you just smoking some motherfucking weed. I mean, you having a time of your life, right? Okay. And you got a big bag in your pocket. Okay. A big bag, let's just say like an ounce of weed. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Can you go to jail in any instance? Well, if I think the most you can have on you is an ounce of weed per the cannabis laws, being that it's recreational. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's an ounce. You can have an ounce on you with no problem. I actually want to say it's 4 ounces, but I know you can have an ounce on you with no problem, and you won't go to jail because they're not even giving you a ticket for that. They're not taking it or nothing. Not unless you like in a car and get like a DUI for smoking, then they may take it. But just you walking around smoking in somewhere that's legal to smoke. Now, if you at the Coliseum, everybody's smoking, so you got to just be cool, mindful of what you do. But who gonna take the weed? If they're gonna take it, they're gonna smoke it. Like, they can't take your weed. So. Yeah. Times have changed. They're not fuck with you for a zip of weed. And you said that when you caught your case and stuff like that, through this, do they help clean your record up too? So it's not through this, but Oakland has a program that does it. But for the record, y'all can do it on your own. Go to the courthouse, wherever county your court was in, request for the paperwork to have your stuff sealed and expunged. You don't need to pay nobody to do it. I mean, they have free places that do it, but you can really do it on your own. If you need help, there's places out there. I'm willing to help. Like, if you inbox me, I've been doing this for years. I've been telling people where to go to do it. So, like, you can do it. You can do it. Okay. And before we get out of here, is there any props or anything that you want to say before we get out of here? Man, shout out to Fame Media for having me, for being willing to have me, because, in most cases, y'all deal with music. I see sports. So I'm feeling good to be up here talking about cannabis and being black in cannabis. So thank y'all for having me. Shout out to all of Oakland, all the Bay Area for supporting Blunts and More. We've stayed afloat. The COVID-19 hasn't slowed us down. We still cracking. Shout out to all our staff. Shout out to Oakland. And then, you know, everybody know who I know. So shout out to everybody I fuck with. Shout out to Cookie Monster. He was supposed to be here. He was supposed to be here. But we gonna get Cookie Monster in here on Fame Media because y'all need to hear the real story behind Cookies. There's a black man behind Cookies. Like, real talk, there's a black man who grew Cookies first and is not getting his recognition. That's the Cookie Monster 415. So shout out to him.
Okay. And where can people find your handle at?
I'm at Tucky Blunt 80 on Instagram. The store is at Blunts and More, and is spelled out, and More has 2 O's. It's our last names. More is my partner last name. My last name is Blunt. So at Blunts and More, at Tucky Blunt 80. Don't follow me on Facebook because I won't add you unless you're family. And I'm on Twitter at Blunt Tucky.
Okay, and where can they find that album at?
My album, it's on Reverb Nation. If you want to hear it, it's classic. It's 0405 music. Reverb Nation. Type in Cookie Man, Cookey, or type in Alfonso Blunt, and it'll be a big ass Cookie Man logo from way back then. So yeah.
Okay, and before we get out of here, is that Cookie Man that you're talking about? Is that the same logo for Cookies the store?
Nope. So my Cookie Man logo is a chocolate chip weed cookie with weed leaves in it with a face, and he's smoking weed.
Oh, okay.
And I came up with that logo in 2003. So that's how far back I go with this weed cookie shit. So.
Okay. Well, I'm L-Deez. This is another episode of I Need to Know with my special guest,
Tucky Blunt of Blunts and More.
And as usual, come on, you know what I want.